Hello Virgo, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection, so we've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck that I'll be using to close out the reading with in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. So if that is the case for you, just know that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, Virgo, let's jump on in. On your side of this connection, you have synchronicity with the Emperor. Okay, the synchronicity card, I feel, has a lot of different meanings. The white feather, seeing a white feather typically kind of means it's like a wink almost is a way that I see it from your spiritual team. Like we're here with you, we're guiding you, you're protected. But then you have this Emperor here. So to me, this is like messages from your spiritual team. And then you have the Emperor, which I feel like is this person. So I feel like you're receiving a lot of messages about this person. So one of the things that we'll get to in just a second, but both in between this connection and the overall theme of the reading are separation. I actually laughed when I pulled this because I pulled this as the last card and it said separation. I was like, of course it does, because it's in between the connection too. So I feel like you and this person there's a distance here. I feel like you guys are not currently together, or if you are, there's definitely like an emotional or physical separation between you and this person. And it feels like you're constantly feeling very pulled like back to this connection, or you can't seem to separate yourself fully from the connection. Like even if there's a physical separation, you're still very emotionally involved in this. And I feel like it's making it really hard for you to know like what to do, like what is the best choice for you. But I don't know. I was kind of confused by that energy, so we'll see when we dive into tarot. Now, this person has communication with the Moon card. So I thought this was very interesting because I feel like this person wants to communicate, but there's this fear of communication, or fear of vulnerability, or fear of honesty, or and I feel like a lot of that fear has to do with not wanting to be seen. A lot of people, communication is hard because it requires that vulnerability. It requires you to kind of put it all out there. And it feels like this person has a lot that they're wanting to say, or that they've wanted to say, but that they're holding back because of fear. Now, in between this connection, you have separation with the Five of Wands. So like I said, separation, overall theme of the reading is also separation. So with this Five of Wands, I feel like there's a lot of, both people in this connection are very conflicted. And I feel like they're conflicted for different reasons. It's almost like on your side, I don't know if it's like you know what, I'm not going to dive into that yet. Because I feel like tarot is going to clarify a lot of that. And I don't want to misspeak. But I feel like both people are kind of conflicted when it comes from to what they want and what they want to do. And then it's creating conflict in between the connection. But I don't know, that's just overall energy, so let's just see what the heck is going on. Synchronicity with the Emperor. This is for Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. All right, there we go. All right, Virgo's side of this connection. Two of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so there's a lack of balance here. But I want more on that. Like a lack of balance how? Two of Pentacles in reverse, the King of Pentacles, and the Knight of Wands. So this is your energy. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. Oh my gosh. Wow. Right out of the gate. Okay. Okay. It's a big first message. I feel like with this Knight of Wands, this is this energy of you really being all in, giving this a lot of your vulnerability, your effort, your time. And with the Two of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like that was very imbalanced. Like you were way more vulnerable or way more open, or you gave a lot more than this person did. Now, with this King of Pentacles and this Emperor here, I feel like this is definitely talking about, like right out of the gate, there's a lot of mirroring going on in this connection. Now, you can say that about any connection, right? Every connection is a mirror of something going on within us. But specifically in this connection, there's a mirror. This person is acting as a mirror toward you, which is why you continue to feel drawn toward the connection or are constantly seeing signs about them. Like you might be seeing their name everywhere, their car, like you might be, I don't know. It's like you can't seem to get away from them in a way. And it's interesting because I think it goes a lot deeper than just the surface of what has happened in this connection. So let's get more. Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. I want the card to come all the way out or hit the table. Okay. Two of Cups. Six of Cups. Okay. You very obviously have a lot of love for this person. I feel like, but that's the thing. It's like you have a lot of love for them. And that's why you gave so much to this. That's with that Knight of Wands. You're like, I want to do whatever I can to make this work. But that was never, you never felt that from them. That's where your conflictedness kind of comes from, is you're like, I really love and care about this person, but I don't like the way that they show up, or I don't like the way they treat me, or I don't like the way they handle things, or I wish that they would give me more, or whatever the case is. But on top of that, with this Six of Cups, oh, and this Ten of Wands in reverse. Because the Ten of Wands in reverse is this need to drop the burdens of other people, taking on other people's burdens, taking on other people's, like taking responsibility for other people's stuff. Like if someone is emotionally unavailable, like you're bearing the burden of that. If someone has like a bunch of baggage, like instead of them handling it, they're expecting you to handle it. It can come in a lot of different ways, but I feel like you had to carry a lot in this connection. A lot of the emotional burden of the connection. And I feel as if that is a very familiar and very similar dynamic for you in love. Because with this Two of Cups and the Six of Cups, this connection represents a cycle for you in love, which is why the universe or spirit or your spiritual team is constantly like bringing it to your attention, because there's something like a really deep, important lesson to be learned in this connection that goes beyond just the connection itself. So, oh gosh, okay. Virgo's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Because, so it's interesting. I saw this light and dark. It's like they mirror both the good and bad. So when things are good in this connection, I feel like they feel really good. It's like you see this good in them. And a lot of that, in that reflection, that good that you see in them is the reflection of the good you see in yourself. Which is why I feel like you are so drawn to it. But then on the flip side, there's kind of this darkness in this connection. And I feel like you recognize or have empathy for their darkness. Because it's almost like the way that they're wounded, or their feelings of unlovableness or whatever it is in this connection, it's like you understand that because they feel like it mirrors a certain part of you. So there's a part of them, it's like you, I'm going to say this, and I don't like the wording, so I'm going to say it and I'm going to kind of dive a little deeper into it. It's like they mirror this like brokenness back to you, and you're like, oh, this part of me that I feel is broken, I see in you, so I have all of this empathy for you, I love you regardless of those things because I understand you, I have empathy for this. So it kind of feels like your shadow sides, because everyone has a light and a shadow side, a light and a dark side. It's almost as if your shadow sides mirror each other, so I feel like it creates a pretty intense level of conflict because it's almost as if your triggers and your insecurities and your traumas, it's like looking in a mirror. It's like you're meeting yourself at your deepest level when you're with this person. Now, when you are dealing with a connection like this, the typical like first thought is like, oh, this is my twin flame, or this person is like my spiritual counterpart. I want to separate that term from this reading because twin flame connections are very rarely actually romantic in nature and very rarely actually have the goal of like the connection itself coming back together. It's all about love of self, love of like loving yourself despite the things you don't like about yourself. And typically when you meet these people, and I just kind of said this, which is why I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit. When you meet this, these people that mirror you in such an intense way, it's almost as if you see, like I said, your like brokenness in them, and you believe you're broken, and you believe you need to be fixed, and you believe you need to be healed in order to be lovable and deserving of love. And it's almost as if that person mirrors that brokenness back to you by making you both see their brokenness on a deep level and making you feel even more broken. And I think that word broken is really important because it's very important for you to know that you are not broken. Regardless of your trauma, regardless of the ways that you struggle to believe that you are deserving of love, regardless of your flaws, regardless of what you've been through, like your mistakes, you are not a broken person. And I think a lot of times when we see ourselves that way and we see someone that mirrors that, we on some level believe, I'm broken, you're broken too, we deserve each other. So then what happens is we put up with a lot of pain and mistreatment and unhealthy dynamics because we believe that we're supposed to for the connection. And that is where we start to prioritize somebody else and a connection over ourselves. So I feel as if this separation that's occurring in this connection is really important because there's this need for you to see yourself outside of like the value that you believe this connection holds. Let me rephrase that. I feel as if so much of like this connection and this person has become so much of a priority that it feels as if you've lost sight of what it is you are truly deserving of, which is love, and somebody who knows how to love you the right way. That was really deep, and I hope that made sense. Okay, we're gonna see what this person's dealing with. Because I feel like this person brings out like your shadow side. It's like when it's good, but when it's bad, it's like real bad. There's some intense conflict because triggers are being mirrored, insecurities are being mirrored. This person's energy toward Virgo, communication with the moon. Now it's interesting because, you have this person like wanting to communicate but being afraid to. Or, okay, hang on. This person's energy toward Virgo. The Tower, right out of the gate. Okay. I want to clarify the Tower. The Seven of Wands, the stubbornness, ego. Stubbornness, ego. control. Those are kind of the words that are coming through. Okay. I feel like this person is very defensive. It's like they have a tendency to really keep you at a distance. And it's interesting because I said this at the when we looked at the overall energy, I was like, I feel like this person's afraid to be seen. And when you're dealing with someone who's afraid to be seen, they're going to keep you at a distance. And you're going to do everything you can to bring them closer, and they're going to do everything they can to push you away. And so what's going to happen? What happens is these insecurities of feeling unlovable or not good enough for love or not deserving of love or not capable of love, whatever kind of wording resonates with you, are going to come out in both parties. Because this person pushes away the love that you have to give because they don't feel good enough or lovable or capable of love or whatever the case is. So they push it away. But then as they push it away, you start to say, this person won't let me in, or they won't love me in the way that I deserve because I'm not deserving of love, I'm incapable of love, I'm not lovable, whatever the case is. So the insecurities that this person holds causes them to push you away. The insecurities that you hold causes you to chase them and try to pull them closer as they're pushing you away. And it creates this dynamic of you over prioritizing them and them under prioritizing you. And it makes it start to feel like, it's almost like you start to feel as if these beliefs that you're not deserving and not lovable and can't have the love that you desire are true. It's like, it's almost as if they prove these insecurities correct, mirror back to you that brokenness that you feel you are. Now, I feel, because with the Tower here, it kind of feels like this person, it's like they, it's like they ruin things before things get good. That's what it feels like with the Tower. It's like before you get too close, it's like, oh, gotta freak out, gotta push Virgo away, you gotta make sure Virgo doesn't get too close. And then I feel like that is where their conflict arises. Is they have this conflict of, I want Virgo close, but I'm afraid of that, so I push Virgo away. And then you have this conflict of, I want this person, but I don't know if they know, I'm not happy with the way that they're treating me. I'm not happy with the dynamic of this connection. So it literally is like the perfect recipe for a cycle, like a push-pull cycle kind of. This person's energy toward Virgo, because again, it's like how they're feeling is not a reflection of what they're doing or what they're saying. But they're so afraid to let you in that they're doing whatever they can to keep you out, even if that means like ruining the connection. And that's going to make you go, why don't you care enough about me? Why am I not good enough? Why won't you love me? Why won't you treat me well? Why won't you make this work? Again, it's mirroring back this feeling as if it has anything to do with you, but it's their insecurities coming out, which are then directly. So what I'm trying to say is the way that this person is acting has nothing to do with you, okay? And everything to kind of deal with what they're dealing with. It's these inner conflicts that both people are having that are coming out in between this connection. I'm trying to, because before I started this reading, I heard one of my guides say, this one's going to be a little different, but like just kind of trust the process. And from the first card, I was like, oh, this is deep. Like this is getting into like spiritual connection and the purpose of those spiritual connections kind of territory. I don't like to talk about twin flames too much on this channel because I think that the concept of them is way too glorified and very misconceived. That's not the right word. There's a I was going to say there's a misconception of what they really are. And people romanticize them and are like, oh, this person's my twin flame, we're meant to be together. So even though this connection is super unhealthy, and even though this person treats me poorly, I need to stay and I need to, love them because they're deserving of love and I'm supposed to love them to love me. And that's not actually what it's about. It's about seeing what this person mirrors back in you, these feelings of being unlovable and not good enough, and these feelings of being broken, and seeing that you, regardless of these things you don't like about yourself, it's about meeting yourself on the deepest level and learning to love yourself, which means not allowing someone to treat you poorly because you learn that you are more deserving of being loved well. And how that affects this person, it doesn't really matter, because it's about your journey, not about theirs. And I think that a lot of this idea of twin flames has become about the other person's journey. And trust me, I get it. I've dealt with one and I've been through it. But it's not about them. This is about you. And what this connection is bringing to the surface for you and what it's trying to guide you toward, so that you can attract the love that reflects back to you the love that you have for yourself, instead of the belief that you are broken and that you are needing to be better or fixed or healed in order to be lovable, which you are not. You are lovable as you are right now. Sure, we always want to try to be our best self. We want to try to show up better and grow and evolve, and that's life, okay? That's a lifelong journey right there. But you should never have this idea that you are too broken or not healed enough or not deserving of love as you are right now, because you absolutely are. And these types of connections bring up this feeling, those feelings of you being unlovable to like the core, because it's literally mirroring your insecurities. And I know that I've said that a couple of times, but I feel like it's so important for you to know that. Okay, this person's energy toward Virgo. Hangman. Page of Cups in reverse. Emotional unavailability. Emotional unavailability with the Page of Cups in reverse. And then you have this Hangman. Let me get more here. The Queen of Cups in reverse. This person is completely driven by their emotions. So when someone is completely driven by emotion, it means that if they feel afraid, if they feel insecure, they act from that place. And when you're dealing with someone who, I do feel like this person struggles with some pretty deep insecurities, feelings of not being good enough, that's where this Moon card is. They're afraid to let you in. They're afraid for you to get too close. And the reason for that is going to be because they don't like themselves. And if they don't like themselves, they're not going to believe that anybody else is going to like them. But you obviously, I feel like you see through them, like you see them for who they are, and you're like, well, I love them anyway. But I feel like a lot of what's very important for you to know is like this person is absolutely struggling with this emotional unavailability, meaning they are incapable of letting somebody in, meaning they are incapable of loving you in the way that you deserve. Now, if this person is incapable of loving you in the way that you deserve, how is that reflecting back at you ways that you don't love yourself in the way that you deserve? That is the way to switch the narrative from this person has control over my ability to be happy to I have control over my ability to be happy. Because our relationships with other people are always a reflection of our relationships with ourselves. And when you're dealing with a connection like this, that does feel very like spiritual twin flame-esque kind of mirroring, it's going to mirror it even more so than usual. Which means there's everything that this person does that you don't like, or that hurts you or that triggers you. There is something within you that is being brought to the surface and asking to be healed, asking to be addressed. And it's not about changing them or opening them up or getting them to love you in the right way. Because if this person's closed off, they have all these things they want to say, I love you, I miss you, blah, blah, blah. None of that matters if they are literally incapable of loving you in the way that you deserve. Because somebody loving you and somebody knowing how to love you are two very different things. Of course someone loves you. Virgo, you're lovable as hell. You deserve to be loved in that way. Of course someone loves you, right? But do they know how? Do they know how to show up for that love? Do they know how to be vulnerable for that love? Do they know how to give and receive that love in a healthy way? Or does it create an unhealthy dynamic because they love you, but they don't know what to do with that information? And I feel like learning that emotionally unavailable people will never be emotionally available, Like we can never make emotionally unavailable people be emotionally available. That is not within our control and not within our power. And when we try to, we start to feel more and more unlovable because we're going, why won't you open up? Why won't you love me? Why won't you treat me better? But it has nothing to do with us and everything to do with where they're at on their journey, which is why I said at the beginning of this, we have to learn to separate your energy from the twin flame concept itself, because it's not about their journey. It's not about the journey of the connection. It's about your individual journey and how it is teaching you to love yourself so you can attract people into your life, friendship, romantic, and otherwise, that reflect that love back that you have for yourself, instead of reflect back this feeling that you are not deserving or incapable of being loved as you are. This is deep. Okay, this person's energy toward Virgo, which is why I feel like if there is separation that's occurring here, it is like divine protection at play. The universe is saying you might love, like, it's like you love them so much because, again, you see the good in yourself in them. So of course you love that. The things you love about yourself, you see in them. But also the things you don't love about yourself, you see in them too. So, this good that you're drawn to in this person, it's going to keep you coming back and keep you investing and keep you prioritizing this connection, even though it's doing this damage to you. Which is why I feel like this separation was necessary and why the universe kind of stepped in and was like, hey, Virgo, you deserve more than this. All right, this person's energy toward Virgo. Because I don't think this person is like in a great place right now. The Knight of Cups in reverse, the High Priestess in reverse, and the Three of Swords. Okay. And then there's the Death in reverse on the bottom of the deck. That's a lot of reverse cards. Yeah, this person's hurting with the Three of Swords, but I feel like it's important for you to know that what they're going through isn't yours to carry. Again, when we love and care about somebody, especially to the extent that I feel you love and care about this person, we have a tendency to over-prioritize them. And we over-prioritize them because we see that love in ourselves, all those things that I just said, but it's almost like we feel as if we are responsible for their pain. And I feel like that's kind of what it's like. You feel you are responsible for this person's healing, and you're not. That is their journey and their journey only. And it's very important for you to know that if this person, say that they never heal, they never grow, they never change, they stay exactly the way they are forever, that does not mean that you cannot be loved in the way that you desire. There's this idea that, well, only my twin flame, only my connection with this person who I think is my twin flame would be what I want. If I would never be able to find someone that would ever make me feel the way that this connection can make me feel, or I would never be able to be loved in the way that this connection makes me loved. And that's not true. Take it from someone who's been there. I dealt with someone who I thought was my twin flame for a very, very long time. Now, this connection actually did have a really intense spiritual purpose in my life, woke me up, put me on a spiritual path. I was not a tarot reader before this. I was a financial advisor living a completely different life. Met this person. This person changed my life forever. My connection to this person changed my life forever. And for a long time, I thought, if this person doesn't learn to love me in the way that I want to be loved, like, I'm going to have to settle, or I'm going to be alone forever. Like, it's them or it's no one. And I couldn't have been more wrong. The universe eventually led me to my current fiance, who is hands down the love of my life. Never thought it was possibly loved in this way. And I wouldn't have been able to have or attract or be in this connection if I hadn't have gone through that past connection that I dealt with, because of the way that it changed me and taught me to love myself and taught me that I am deserving of being loved well. So it played a deep purpose in my life, absolutely. But it didn't mean that it was romantic, and not all twin flame connections are romantic. I'm not saying it's not possible, but the more that we focus on the other person and how they need to grow, change, evolve, heal, what they're thinking about us, what they're saying about us, that does not matter. What matters is what this connection is trying to teach us, how it's trying to teach us to love ourselves, how it's trying to teach you to help you, grow and see the good in you and love yourself despite the things you don't like. And the reason that you're constantly being drawn back to this connection is because you have not closed out the cycle of learning to love yourself in the way that you are looking for this person to love you. because you believe that in order for you to be loved in the way that you deserve, that it has to come from them, which means you've given all your power to them and you have said, you have to love me or else I can't be loved in the way that I deserve. And that isn't fair to you because you have essentially put your happiness and your ability to be loved in the hands of someone who is quite literally incapable of doing that right now. Does that mean it's going to be that way forever? No. Does it mean it's not going to be that way forever? I don't know. You don't know. No one knows. The only thing that you have control over is learning to love yourself well, which I feel like is what this entire period of separation between you and this person is about. It's teaching you to love yourself. In between this connection, you have separation and the Five of Wands. I'm really hoping that I still have some of you here because I feel like this got really deep and really honest, and I feel like a lot of people don't want to hear this stuff. But I spent a lot of my life chasing after somebody and asking them to love me well. And not just that person. I mean a lot of people in my life. There was always someone in my life that I was asking them to change so I could be loved well or treated well or properly compensated for my time or whatever the case is. And I realized that in all dynamics in my life, I was always giving away this power to other people to say, I need you to love me in order for me to be loved. And in reality, I needed me to love me so that other people could reflect that love back at me instead of the lack of love I had for myself. And so that's really what I try to bring forth in these readings is this realization that other people are a direct reflection of our relationship with ourselves. And it's never about them. It's always about us. And the more we focus on ourselves and what a connection is trying to teach us, how it's trying to help us heal, how it's trying to help us grow, the more that we are going to lead ourselves to the love that we've been looking for all along, which is absolutely what you are deserving of and what's possible for you. In between this connection, you have separation with the Five of Wands. We're going to dive into what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align with your higher self. Again, I'm hoping that I have some of you with me here still, but thank you so much, Virgo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Virgo, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Virgo.